For 75 years, Israel has been and will continue to be our strongest and most important ally in the Middle East. Now, it's past time for the Biden White House and his fellow Democrats to start acting like it. The fact that a number of House Democrats boycotted today's address is ridiculous. And the fact that 10 House Democrats refused to agree that Israel is not a racist state is completely inexcusable. If recent events have shown us anything, it's that the Democrats have solidified their position as the anti-Israel party. Look no further than earlier this year when the House voted to remove Ilhan Omar from her post on the House Foreign Affairs Committee for repeated anti-Semitic comments. Guess how many Democrats supported the resolution? Not a single one. Meanwhile, the world saw headlines about President Biden dragging his feet on meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu, calling Israeli officials extremists and appeasing our adversaries like Iran and China. Let me be clear. Any anti-Israel rhetoric or action will never and will not be tolerated so long as House Republicans are in the majority.
What a historic day for the alliance between the United States and Israel to hear from President Herzog when he said, when the United States is strong, Israel is stronger. When Israel is strong, the United States is more secure. I couldn't agree with that statement more. And I look back at the debate. I managed the floor resolution yesterday talking about anti-Semitism and racism and hatred. And I couldn't help but go back to my father's generation, the greatest generation, World War II. My father was a bombardier, bombed the Nazis. They took on one of the most evil forces known to mankind. One of the most evil forms of hatred and racism and anti-Semitism. And they defeated it. And out of the ashes of that war, that became the state of Israel. 2,000 years in exile, returning to Jerusalem, that's what Israel means to me. It was created because of anti-Semites, because of racism. And to see members in this Congress engage in that conduct, the very conduct that the greatest generation defeated, is absolutely disgraceful. And it's offensive to not only to every Jewish member here and member of Congress, but to everyone that calls themselves an American that stands up to this. It has no place in Congress, has no place in America, has no place in the world.
I was born in the holy city of Charleston, South Carolina, which at the time of the American Revolution had the largest Jewish population in the New World. The very first Jewish American elected official was the Provincial Assembly of South Carolina. That's the heritage I came from, so it was clear to me to work with my fellow Republicans as Democrats were blocking the ability of enhancing the missile defense capability of Israel. Republicans stood firm and forced a vote to provide for the additional defense. We are, Israel and America, working together in the global competition between dictators, which are rule of gun, opposing democracy's rule of law. And we will face dictator Putin, Xi, and Khomeini. And with this, also, we have legislation pending, proof of Republicans, and we are asking Democrats, too, to work together to promote the Abraham Accords. We have another legislation that provides for the future of warfare, working together. And then I was really grateful on May 14, 2018, to lead the House delegation for the opening of the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem. For 30 years, it had been delayed. And it had been stated that we could not open our embassy in the capital because it would cause dislocation throughout the Middle East. President Donald Trump said, no, promises made, promises kept. He did it. Republicans will keep the promises, promises kept, and promises made.
So I was really proud when my colleague August Pfluger and Max Miller and I led a resolution that Mr. Pfluger authored that said three very simple things. It said that Israel is not a racist state. It says that the United States condemns all forms of anti-Semitism. And three, that we, the United States, remain a staunch ally of Israel. It was a very simple, straightforward resolution. I'm really proud that over 400 of our colleagues on both sides of the aisle voted for it. I'm extremely disappointed that there were 9 that voted against it, really 10-1 who voted present. We do not need to send that type of statement to the rest of the world. We need to send a statement that the United States always supports and appreciates our greatest ally in the Middle East, and that's Israel.
The veneer is ripped off. That this radical, liberal, progressive side of the Democrat Party has hijacked the administration. They've hijacked the platform. We need the Democrat Party to stand up against that, and unfortunately, they're not doing that. And it's not just on this issue, it's on many other issues. But I'm proud to stand with my colleagues here and throughout the rest of the U.S. House of Representatives, proud to stand with Republicans to reaffirm our support for Israel, to tell the world that we will push back on Iran, the largest state sponsor of terror, to tell the world that we support Israel and we support 75 years of statehood. In fact, we were the very first country to recognize Israel 75 years ago as a nation. And we will continue to push back on the radicalism that these 10 people in the House of Representatives failed to stand up for. It's an honor to stand with my colleagues here to reaffirm our support for Israel.
Today, as a freshman member in the first 6.5 months, I'd never imagined, as someone who's Jewish as well, and there's only 2 Jewish Republican members of Congress, myself and David Kustoff to my right, that I'd be working on 2 resolutions combating anti-Semitism. But that's the position that we've been put in by the Democrat Party, in my opinion, is that we have addressed it, we have held these individuals accountable, and now the American people can see it for what it is. And we see this happening on college campuses as well with BDS movements. And BDS and things of this nature is not just doing work with Jewish people, it's doing work with Israeli people. And as you heard the president say today, they represent everyone in the democracy of Israel. Whether you're Arab, whether you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, they all sing together in harmony. And that is the true vision of Israel. And they are working to find a solution that works for them and the PLA and everyone else. But there is no one who wants more peace than the state of Israel. And just the most important ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, and it continues to fall under attack day by day. And that's why it is so important that we continue to stand strong and to not back down. And as I said, one of 2 Jewish Republican members, I know that David and I are never going to back down from being the loudest Jewish voices in Congress and always standing strong and tall for the Jewish people in the state of Israel.